somebody that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Mom loves the both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good to mom. Blood's thicker than the mud. It's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
One of it. Still checking each other out. Hey, nobody wants to blow. Nobody wants to be left out. You can't leave cause your heart is there, but you can't stay cause you've been somewhere else. You can't cry cause you look broke down, but you're crying anyway cause you're all broke down. It's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
It's a family affair. Yeah, a family affair.
Welcome, I'm Rod Willis, and this is News ULM. My theme song is Family Affair, and it's a fitting theme song for today's send-off. We have Joshua Adewume. He is a 3.7 scholar who earned a scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan University. He's playing in the Division II football, he's going to be playing this fall about an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. It's in West Virginia. 4.5 hour drive from here. I promised him I was going to make at least one of his football games, and I did MapQuest today. I said, boy, you got me going through the mountains, but I'm going to keep my word. And he's got his whole part of his family here. They are music prodigies, wonderful. They sing, play gospel, R&B, jazz, and just a wonderful group. And without further ado, we're going to go to Joshua, and he's got his brother on keyboards and his wonderful, beautiful sister who's going to give us the vocals today. Joshua?
Hello, my name is Isaiah.
Oh, I'm Esther. Okay, let's go.
And I'm Joshua.
And the name of your group?
Oh.
We're just family members.
Okay, family.
Dadomi family. shouldn't have let you go. Let you out of my sight, baby. I never knew how much I cared. Never knew. butterflies in my belly. Moriko sunko jekomu ema bawio. Already felt like be at awoni. Iru omo ti mo fe. Home bella rare. Baby gboruko mi. Mo fe get love you. Mo fe ba e darugo. Mo fe ba e
I'm Rod Willis, your host, and Joshua, third time up, man. I appreciate you coming and bringing your family. This is truly a family affair. I just want Prince George's County, the DMV, and Greater Maryland to realize we have a true scholar, athlete, who is going to make waves. 3.7 average, graduated from Flowers with honors, going into the medical and health applied allied health field, and earned a full scholarship, free ride to West Virginia Wesleyan College. You're going to be playing defensive back.
Yes.
They waiting for you. I looked at MapQuest, and it's about 4.5 hours over the Appalachian Blue Ridge Mountains. I said, man, but I told my man I was going to be there. It's an hour and 15 minutes from Pittsburgh. Wow, in the middle of West Virginia. But proud that you came back. We saw some of the video, and you brought your family here. But you had the pleasure and the honor, first time, to go back home to the motherland, Nigeria. You had never been there. You were born here in America,
Yes.
right? But your parents and your family lineage is from Nigeria. Tell us, how was the experience? How were you received by a family that you had never met?
It was a very great experience when I went to Nigeria. I didn't expect anything. I would say that some parts of Nigeria is very close to America. A lot of people doesn't know that. They think that it's probably, just like really bad and things like that in Nigeria, but it's very nice in Nigeria. The family members that I didn't see or that I didn't know before ahead of time, they came to me with open hands.
Really?
They was very happy to see me. They said that they knew me when I was young. They saw pictures of me.
Really?
So they already knew how I looked. They introduced themselves to me, and I had a great time when I was in
Really?
Nigeria.
Really? Was it just you that went?
It was me and my mom.
Okay. And your father went a couple of weeks ago, did he
Yes.
not? Okay, that's good. Now, to your immediate left is your beautiful sister with that beautiful voice. How long have you all been singing together as a family? I called you the other day, and you told me you were in choir practice. And do you sing at church?
Sometimes I sing, but I mainly play sax.
Okay.
Or drums.
Okay. So, sis, tell us, give us your name and tell us, how is it to be in a family that's so musically inclined?
My name is Esther Adewumi. Well, being in a family that's musically inclined is like normal to us because my dad actually sings.
Really?
And he had a couple of albums before he left Nigeria.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my mom sings too, but not professionally. But
Okay.
my dad, he used to sing professionally. So he kind of, while we were younger, growing up, he made sure that each of us, picked an instrument that we liked, and he actually invested in us, enrolling us in music school,
Wow.
enrolling us in, classes and things like that. So
you're
pretty normal.
you're a songbird. Did you also pick up an instrument?
I did. I used to play the sax back in the
Really? But
He laughed
he
at me
stole
when I
your
said
sax.
that. Yeah.
I know how that goes. I was in a family with a sister and two brothers.
But then I kind of singing is just like my thing.
Now, I understand your brother who was on the keyboard is really a bass man and a drummer, so y'all are versatile. Y'all can go
And
either
a rapper.
way.
He's actually a rapper.
Yeah,
a
he's a
gospel
rapper,
rapper.
too.
Yeah.
Man,
His
we're
name
going
is Zayadin.
Okay, we're going to have him back on the show when you're gone, and most certainly after the season is over. I did a MapQuest to see how far the route, I think it's Route 66 to US 48, something like, and it's what's the name of the city?
Buchanan.
Buchanan.
Yeah,
Buchanan, West Virginia. So, what does your music group have planned this semester? I know y'all going to make some trips to see my boy play, but what plans do you all have inside, outside the church for music activity?
Well, as far as musically together as a group. We're not a group together.
Okay.
You know, we're siblings.
Right.
But we all have like our separate ministry. I am actually a Nigerian gospel artist, you know, like I told you last time.
Yes, ma'am.
So I travel home a lot to Nigeria, like churches
Really?
invite
Wow,
invite me
okay.
down to sing and things like that. And then Zayade, most of his ministrations are here in America because he doesn't speak. He's not like an African rapper. He's like an American gospel rapper.
Now, is there a difference between an African rapper and an American rapper?
Like for me, most of my songs I'm singing, you know, my language. There's some rappers like Easy Life. He is a gospel African rapper, so he speaks the actual language in the song.
So it's a different genre. He doesn't do American rap, but he does African rap.
Well, I'll call it African rap because, like, for his music, he incorporates some African drums. Like, it's different from just...
Djembe?
What's the djembe?
Djembe is like the...
Congo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they have different names for it. But yes, yeah, he has, like, the conga, the talking drum.
Okay.
You know, like, different instruments. You know, some of his songs have, like, just strictly American, but I would... label him an African gospel rapper because he speaks the language. But my brother doesn't speak.
What language?
Yoruba.
Yoruba.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check because my brother, my son-in-law, I told you I have 3 Nigerian queens and 1 Nigerian princesses and 1 Nigerian prince. My daughter married a brother whose parents were from Nigeria, and their last name is Ogunware. And that means God's authority. That's Yoruba.
Yeah,
yes.
that's Yoruba.
Yes. And you guys are strong population-wise. Well, transitioning from going to high school, you're 4.5, 5 hours away. What do you think it's going to be like? They expect you to hit the field first year and lay some licks, but what do you think the transition is going to be like from being in high school around family that loves you to being independent? In college, nobody tells you to get up in the morning. They don't tell you when to eat. They don't tell you when to study. You can go to class or not go to class. So how do you think you'll make that transition?
I think that is really going to be an exciting experience to really just go out to see how I am on my own. Everything that my parents taught me, you know, at the house and everything discipline-wise, waking up on time, you know, waking up by myself and things like that. I believe that is going to transition to when I'm inside of college and when I'm by myself.
Have you ever missed a bus?
Yes.
Come on, man.
In middle school. That was a long time ago.
Come on, man. Because, you know, football coaches, they got foul mouths, foul tongues, and if you mess up, they make the whole team do a lap or 2 or 3 or 5 and say they start hating you if you make them do 1,000 push-ups laps. So let's get it together, brother. Cohesion. That's good. That's good. So that's interesting. And from everything I have seen, your family and your father and mother really instilled discipline, godliness, punctuality, scholarship, being accountable to each other. I can always tell it's a great deal of love when you guys come to the studio. How do you think that separation is going to be? Separation anxiety, because you're going to be there by yourself. Anybody else from Flowers or PG County going to school out there?
Just one person from Frederick Douglass.
Do you know him already?
No, I don't know him.
Okay.
But I just seen him with the recruit.
Is he? This is his first year?
Yes, it's going to be his first year.
Okay, so at least you know somebody from town. Well, we wish you all the best. This is the trophy he earned, and it says Joshua Adewume Student Athlete Award, Flowers High School 2018, 3.7 GPA, awarded by the Diabetes Awareness Project. And we always trying to promote good health and eating properly. And how have you managed over the last couple of years, but most certainly in the last 18 months, keeping your body in shape and eating right? Because it's easy to fall back into eating junk food because it's quick, it's fast, it's salty, it tastes good, but not necessarily good for you. How do you handle diet and nutrition?
Well, definitely. Right as soon as the season was over for our team, probably like 2-3 weeks after that, I was back on, working out every single day, going to the gym. I already have a trainer that works with me on the field. I go to the gym with my brother. He helped me when I'm working out and things like that. And just making sure, I'm eating the right things and make sure I'm staying on.
Well, let me ask you something. In terms of what you eat, do you have a regiment that you go through? How many days a week do you work out? Do you work out every day or work out 2 days and lay off one? Or are you in the weight room? Because I'm seeing these biceps and triceps. You got some jugs, what you doing, man?
Well, I work out 4 days a week.
4 days a week?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is it staggered? Do you work out 2 and then rest 1? And I know you're going in the weight room because you got some curves. You hitting the weights?
Yes. Definitely.
Okay. That's good. Well, look, man, all the best of luck to you. Hope to make at least one game. I promise I'm definitely going to make one. I might have to trail you guys. Are you guys going to go up the day of the game, or are you going to go up the night before? Because that's a long haul.
We're taking him to school next weekend.
Okay.
Me and all 5 of us.
Okay.
We're 5 in the family, siblings. So we're going to drive him up there. We're going to come back the same day. So
but I mean on the days of the game, because all his home games are on Saturday.
We might have to sleep over there because four and a half
Man,
hours.
that's a long, and it's in the middle of the state, and it's hour 15 minutes from Pittsburgh. That's like the Cleveland exit. So look, man, God bless you, Godspeed. I love you, man, and love you and your family. We're gonna stay in touch, and I'm gonna keep that promise. I'm gonna come out there with a film crew and try to get you. When they tell me my man has made the team, he's started, he's putting licks, I'm going to be, I think, I can't you all play Shepherdstown towards the end of the season or something like that. Mm-hmm. Shepherdstown, but that's an away game, I think.
Yes, we play Shepherd at Shepherd.
Okay.
And it's about an hour and 30 minutes away.
Yeah, that's close. That's close. That's close in. But I want to go to the campus and check up on your professors to see if make sure you're going to class and you're not oversleeping. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you. We're gonna go to a music break, and this is a great family. And thank you so much for coming. This is the 3rd time around, and just a shining example of what Prince George's County is producing in terms of godly folk who are focused, doing the right thing. So many of our black males and females tagged as being irresponsible, and the media wants to portray them as something else other than what the best that they can be. But he has shown that that's not necessarily true, and he has belied the stereotypes that the white media is trying to put out. God bless you. I'm proud of you, brother. Be strong in the Lord.
Get it
back to News ULM. I had the pleasure of meeting a young man yesterday and his mama. He has autism, but you would not know it from the Spirit of God that flows through him with the message that he's got. And brother went through heart surgery and didn't quite know how he was going to make it, and didn't quite know how, the fear factor of a young 11-year-old boy going through that is something else. So in keeping with the connection between diabetes and heart disease, diabetes and obesity, diabetes and high blood pressure, we're going to bring you Eric's heart.
Father, I thank you for Eric. I thank you for his life. I thank you for the many obstacles you brought him over. I thank you for the things that you've done in him that only you could do. Protect him and heal him and preserve him for your glory. Thank you, Lord, that he loves you, and thank you that he serves you. And I thank you, Lord, that his life belongs to you. We lift Eric up to you. Let your best plan be realized in his life. In Jesus' name, amen.
On April 12th, at night, I was praying to God. I was like, this Lord help me, because our surgery is tomorrow. I'm scared. It's going to be scared, but I trust in you. Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Our kingdom come. God's so good in this place right now. Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Our kingdom come. Our will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and we give those that give us. Leave us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. Holy the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
I thank God that he came through this surgery. Just the thought of him being on that table with his chest open, and his heart is not beating itself, and his lungs are not breathing on their own. I mean, when you think about it from that perspective, oh my God, I'm very thankful. Thankful that he's breathing and living, that he made it through more than anything else.
So Eric had a form of congenital heart disease. It's called partial anomalous pulmonary veins. And what that is normally the veins that come back from our lungs come into the left side of the heart. And sometimes during development, those veins won't connect up to the heart the way they're supposed to. And in Eric, some of the veins, instead of coming to the left side of the heart, came into another vein that eventually come into the right side of the heart. And so the result of that is that that portion of blood flow that is supposed to be coming back to the left side is coming to the right, and it adds an extra amount of blood flow that the right side of the heart has to handle.
And I wouldn't say I had doubts. I was just very afraid that what could happen, what could happen, because that is a major surgery. So, I was afraid of what could happen.
And here I am, still here walking, and thank you for all the people who've done for me.
Well, this is how I met Eric. I got a letter telling me about this kid and how incredible he was. And it was from his mom. Isn't that right, Rick? Yeah, it was from his mom, from Linda. And she was telling me he was a huge fan of mine and that she wanted him to meet me and ask if it was possible to bring him up to the radio station. I was like, that's easy. It was an amazing moment. It's a day I won't forget. You know, Eric is not the kind of guy you forget. You know, he's a really, really special kid. People would assume, I think, that it's something that you're doing for this kid, but it was really something that this kid was doing for me. You know, the blessing was mine.
It's mind-blowing to me when I really, really, really think about it, that God is really speaking in my life. Before this point, you know, I felt like, you know, of course I know there's God, of course I love God, you know, of course I love Jesus, I pray, but this is different. This has really been a real eye-opener spiritually for me.
I had the pleasure of meeting Eric at Ben's for the first time. He came in with his mom, Linda, as just customers on a Saturday afternoon, I believe, or Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember. And they ordered a couple of beef dogs, and they were sitting actually at that table over there. Eric was a fan of Ben's, and this was his first time, and he always wanted to come. So I went over just to say thanks. And thanks for coming through, and you know, and it was cool because I was kind of asking him what made Ben so special to him, and we got into a conversation, and the more I spoke to both him and his mother, they were both special people. I think Linda is a very special mom, and I think Eric is an absolutely special child. I think sometimes the more I'm around him, the more we have to question, as I've always said before, what's normal. Eric is a very warm individual. I mean, despite the fact that he's autistic, he's very engaging. You can tell that he sees the good in everything, you know, which is something that I think we tend to lose as we get older, and so that's kind of refreshing to be around people like that. And I think just the love that you can see from him, both for his mom as well as all the other people around him. I mean, like I said, I've only known him maybe 6 months now, but I see lots of people here at the hospital who know him. I was going through the cash register in the cafeteria once, maybe 2 months ago or something, and the cashier said, "Oh, you're Eric's doctor." So you know, everybody here kind of knows Eric.
I'm gonna be brand new.
It was more energetic than words, but it was almost like his love. He had a deep spirituality, but it's not something you can, I'm using that word loosely. It was just something about him that you could tell he had a piece about his life and his journey.
This is who I live with every single day, every moment. When Eric wakes up in the morning, he has a joyful praise in his mouth. He is making up songs about God and Jesus and his word. I say, Eric, come in here and just sing it to me. Whatever you in here singing, it sounds good. Just come in here and make it up to mommy. Always praising God and praising Jesus.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
I love the bow tie. You look good, and thank you for that. It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Oh my goodness.
It's a pleasure, man.
Yes.
Come
I
on.
just got surgery on April 13th.
Thank God you're here, man.
Yeah.
Thank God. I'm happy for you.
Well, his mom, Linda, is very special too. Obviously, this kid just doesn't come out of nowhere. You know, this comes from somewhere. And obviously, Mom has a lot to do with that. His spiritualism, his attitude towards life. You know, I find her to be a very positive person too, very upbeat. You know, we're going to beat this. You know, this is the hand we've been dealt, but you know, we're gonna make lemonade out of it. This is what we're gonna do. She loves her child.
What I'm also appreciative for is Linda, because even as we can sit here and say he's a special child, we also know, and even though I think he's special in a beautiful way, we also know that comes sometimes with special needs and comes with patience and love and unconditional love. And I think she's a beautiful example of that. I think she truly puts herself second. And it's really beautiful to watch that. And I know most moms would do that, maybe all, but it's really beautiful to see it in motion right in front of you.
And I can only imagine what that must be like to see your child face such incredible difficulties, you know, but to still, you know, she's got that faith. She knows he has that faith, and you know, with God, they get through it. You know, they're like friends, man. It's a very cool relationship that I see between them. You know.
But when they opened Eric up, they realized Eric had 3 veins instead of 2 that needed to be redirected to his heart. And the 3rd vein was behind the heart. They couldn't see it, and it was also protruding through the lining of his heart. And the right side of his heart was very large, so they said that this surgery was definitely needed. So God really blessed him. And so through that process, Eric healed. Well, he's still not healed, but his recovery is going very well. He was supposed to be there 10 to 14 days, but he came out in 6. Thank God for that. There's so many people I just continue to thank. The list is never ending, and people are still sending support. You know, still sending letters, still sending cards to this day, or just calling to see how Eric is doing.
in love with God from this process.
Because I need to be branded.
Yes, because He let you be branded.
So God, thank you.
Yes,
because He let me be branded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all good now.
Yeah.
Right?
Not the time, not the time, not the place. Oh yeah, believe, keep the faith. Learn how to wait on the Lord. This is not the time, not the time, not the place. Oh yeah, just believe, keep the faith. Learn how to wait. This is what I like to tell God. There's still hope for the hopeless. wind to the windless, soft wind to the windless. Give peace as he west, give peace as he west. There is hope for the hopeless, there is hope for the hopeless, and there is life for the lifeless.
If you really love him, and there's nothing I can do, don't try to spare my feelings, just tell me that we're through.
millions of Americans, Emma was living with high blood pressure and didn't know it. There were no early warning signs or symptoms. But Emma's heart was working overtime, putting her at risk for heart disease and stroke. Following a physical, Emma was diagnosed with high blood pressure, also called hypertension.
People of all backgrounds can develop high blood pressure. Treatments differ based on risk factors including age and family history. But hypertension can often be controlled with healthy habits and medication when necessary. Eating more fruits and vegetables, following a low-salt diet, exercising regularly, and quitting smoking are often the first lines of defense to control high blood pressure. Your doctor may prescribe one or more medications to help lower your blood pressure to normal. Some rid the body of extra sodium and water. Others reduce the heart rate or relax the blood vessels. Always take medications exactly as prescribed, and don't skip doses. While medications can effectively lower blood pressure when taken correctly, each type has potential side effects for some people. You might feel tired or have trouble sleeping. You may experience a dry cough, stuffy nose, leg cramps, frequent urination, or headaches. If you have side effects that don't go away with time, don't just quit taking your medication. Talk with your doctor and pharmacist, as there may be other medications or different doses that can control your blood pressure and have fewer or no side effects. Focus on the benefits. Taking your medication regularly will lower high blood pressure and protect your brain, heart, and kidneys from life-threatening consequences like stroke or heart attack, often the first scary signs of hypertension when left untreated. Control your blood pressure and reduce your risk by knowing your goal numbers
and monitoring your blood pressure at home or at your local pharmacy in between doctor's visits.
How's Franny?
She just graduated from obedience school.
Pharmacists play a key role in working with your physician to improve blood pressure management. We can address medication concerns and challenges. So talk to us about your treatments and goals outlined by your doctor. If taking your medication feels like a chore, don't just stop taking it. We can counsel you on working through side effects or determine when you need to see your doctor about possible changes in your medications. And we'll share healthy lifestyle tips to keep you on track. Whether you monitor your blood pressure at home or in the pharmacy, we're here to discuss your numbers and provide guidance. Okay, Emma, you're all set. I'll see you back here soon. Visit millionhearts.hhs.gov to team up with your pharmacist to bring your blood pressure down.
Designed for you, Centric and the American Heart Association, in recognition of World Heart Day, share the testimonies of those affected by heart disease.
It was April 4th, 2012, and I was preparing to perform for a private event, and I had leaned over into my bag to pick up some music equipment. And as soon as I came up, I had a very rapid arrhythmia in my heart. I wish I could say that it was the first time that it had happened, but it wasn't. It was the fourth time. Denial, I think, is the biggest contributor to heart disease that exists. This isn't happening to me. I have too much to do. I don't have time to be sick. I have people waiting on me. It's going to pass. By the time the ambulance came to get me and the EMTs put me into the ambulance and disrobed me, my heart rate was going 230 beats per minute and escalating. At that point, the EMT cursed out loud, and I thought it was over. My mother's going to be so pissed. She's going to be so mad at me that I worked so hard all of my life, and I have given so much to so many people, and how dare I leave without saying goodbye? I was at peace that day that may have been my last day. Fortunately, we made it to the hospital just in the nick of time. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic strata you may exist in. Heart disease does not discriminate. Get your checkups. It takes me probably 3, 4, maybe 5 hours to prepare my meals during the week. Yes, it's time-consuming. Yes, it is more expensive, but your body and your mind will thank you for it later. I'm a survivor, and you can be one too.
Centric, the first network designed for Black women.
I was born into a family that I've lost them all to cardiovascular disease, except from one brother.
Everyone that I can think of and remember in my family has had high blood pressure.
I knew I had family history. I didn't act on it. I didn't do anything about that.
If I had really taken seriously that I had family history on both sides of high blood pressure, I might not have used as much salt on my food. I might have drank more water, I might have walked after dinner.
Knowing something and doing something is completely different. I could have prevented this.
I go red for the young girls, my granddaughter's age. And if they start living healthy, then they won't be sitting here.
The morning of the heart attack, it started out, I just felt sick. I felt like I had the flu, and I was just very nauseous, tightening in the jaw.
I was dying.
I was just still in incredible denial. Even though I had read all of the information on Go Red for Women.
Our family history says that this will always be, and once you get on the medicine, this is your life forever. But it doesn't have to be. And that's what the American Heart Association is telling us.
There's a purpose for my life. There's a reason why I had 2 heart attacks in one day and I'm still sitting here.
Small changes, small steps lead to great results.
As a community, a lot of what we do is around food. Talking about some of those things that are internal in the culture, not wanting to sweat because you don't want to mess your hair up. How can you get around that so that you can still work out? And how can we, figure out a way to attack some of those concerns that women of color have so that we can live healthier lives and move and eat healthier?
Everything from this point on should be, I'm going to teach my children how to live healthy. Like, if you can't afford a gym, walk to the park.
My kids and my husband have really adapted to it more than me.
If you want different results, you got to do things differently. It's about doing things and taking care of the tempo that God has given us. If you just follow the guidelines that the American Heart Association has put in place, they've given us the prescription, just follow it. We have a generation to save.
I fight for other women of color. We have one of the highest incidences of heart disease. And so I fight for them, so hopefully they'll see my story like I saw someone else's, and they'll make a change.
Salt. The chemical name for it is sodium chloride. About 90% of the sodium we eat comes in the form of salt. Current dietary guidelines say Americans aged 2 and up should eat less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium, or about 1 teaspoon of salt per day. However, about half the population should get even less than that. A diet even lower in sodium, 1,500 milligrams per day, is recommended for persons 51 and older and those of any age who are African American or have high blood pressure, diabetes, or chronic kidney disease.
Even those who try to watch what they eat may not realize just how much salt is in our food. Many Americans don't know that unseen salt drives up their blood pressure, increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke, which are the first and third leading causes of death in the United States.
Studies show that adults eat an average of 3,400 milligrams of sodium every day. That's more than twice the recommended limit for most American adults, and far more than the body needs. But the salt shaker is not the major problem, nor is the pinch of salt tossed into the spaghetti sauce. The overwhelming majority of the salt we eat, about 3/4 of it, is already in foods we buy from grocery stores and restaurants. But it's not only present in salty foods like cured meats, chips, and pickles. It's also hidden in foods that may not even taste salty, like cereal and condiments. And it's these hidden sources that make reducing salt intake challenging for individuals and for society. Increased salt in the diet increases blood pressure. Increased blood pressure increases the risk for heart attack and stroke.
We have it from every source concurrently in regard to salt and blood pressure. The evidence is extensive, consistent, strong, and worthy of the designation. It's a causative effect.
The modification of sodium intake for individuals who have excessive consumption is incredibly important, whether or not individuals are hypertensive, whether or not they're African American, whether or not they're middle-aged or older adults. This is a public health problem and one that's important for all Americans.
The tremendous burden of high blood pressure, hardened arteries, heart attack, heart failure, and even blindness is accompanied by an alarming economic toll. According to recent estimates, U.S. costs for heart disease and stroke, to which high blood pressure is a major contributor, were an estimated $444 billion in 2010. This includes spending on health care, lost productivity, death, and disability. Changing individual behavior is very hard, even among the most motivated. That's why improving the available choices remains part of the public health effort, along with education.
The pleasure of eating is a very important pleasure of civilized human beings. None of us who have any sense would think of interfering with that pleasure. That pleasure is fully enjoyable. You just re-educate your taste buds.
Salt reduction in our food not only requires a new mindset, but a new environment, one in which healthier foods are the accessible and affordable default option for everyone. Salt matters. We must act, and act now.
For more information, please visit www.cdc.gov/salt.
Obesity costs this country about $150 billion a year, or almost 10% of the national medical budget. Approximately 1 in 3 adults and 1 in 6 children are obese. Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death attributable to heart disease, cancer, and diabetes.
CDC TV presents Health Matters.
At its simplest, obesity results from people consuming more calories than their bodies burn. But it's a more complex problem than that. People didn't decide to become overweight. Their weight gain is a consequence of complicated changes in the environment, where food is more readily available and opportunities for physical activity are lacking.
Societal, economic, cultural conditions have all contributed to the rise in obesity.
One contributing factor is the fact that the way we eat has changed over the last 50 years. Americans are eating more processed foods and eating out a lot more frequently. The foods that are offered in restaurants, snack shops, and in vending machines are higher in sugar, calories, and fat than what we typically prepare in our own homes. We are surrounded by food. We're constantly bombarded by it. We're consuming larger portion sizes and more calories than ever before. Another factor is that people who live in poor and rural communities may have less access to quality grocery stores that sell healthy and affordable options. In these areas, it might be easier and cheaper for residents to purchase less healthy foods and beverages.
Other factors such as technology and the way we build our communities has influenced our lives. Both of these factors have left us more sedentary. Families must drive to work and school because it's often too far to walk. Many communities are built in ways that simply make it difficult or unsafe to be physically active. For many families, safe routes for walking and biking to school or play may not even exist. Getting to parks and recreation centers may be difficult, and public transportation may not even be available. And we spend a lot of time sitting in front of screens for work and for entertainment. Also, too few students get daily quality physical education in schools.
There is no single or simple solution to the obesity epidemic. It's going to take solutions at many levels in order to resolve the epidemic. What can each of us do as individuals to be healthier? First, we can eat more fruits and vegetables and fewer foods that are higher in fat and sugar. We can also drink more water instead of sugar drinks. Everyone, including adults of all ages and ability levels and children, need to get the recommended amount of physical activity. Parents can listen to their pediatricians and restrict television viewing for their young children to less than 2 hours a day, and we cannot put televisions in our children's bedrooms. How can we work together as communities to resolve the obesity epidemic? Communities can expand access to fruits and vegetables through farmers markets programs like this one in Brownsville, Texas.
The market was designed for the sole intent of reducing obesity rates and improving diabetes rates in our community.
There's a wide range of people who come to the market from different walks of life.
Low-income families who may not be able to afford some of the fruits and vegetables. The voucher program has been very instrumental.
Communities can also advocate for quality nutrition programs and physical education in their school systems. One way to do that is through school health advisory councils.
The School Health Advisory Council is something that doesn't cost any money, and it is relatively little amount of time, and it brings together a diverse group of people from the community and the schools.
I like to be healthy because I want to be big and strong.
Because schools face so much pressure to try to do so many other things, the School Health Advisory Council is the perfect way for schools to achieve it.
Local governments and communities can play an important role in developing environments that encourage and support active living. They can increase opportunities for physical activity by encouraging mixed-use development to allow for easy access to schools, businesses, parks, and grocery stores. They can implement traffic safety measures and crime prevention strategies. Building bike paths, sidewalks, and crosswalks will foster safe and easy access to more physical activity. States and local governments can provide incentives to existing markets to offer healthier food, and they can also provide incentives for new businesses to establish their supermarkets in low-income areas.
The quality of the produce is much better, and of course it's least expensive than at the corner stores, and this is very helpful to the neighborhood, I think, to overall be a more healthier neighborhood.
I had lived in Philadelphia all my life, and I had never was a market like this around here that we can walk to. That's a convenience, and on top of that, healthy foods.
Employers can offer worksite health programs that offer a variety of options for their employees, such as this program in Austin, Texas.
This used to just be a place to come to work and go home, and now it's a place where you can come and get in your workout and get in your support group for your weight loss. And instead of just going to the short order cook and having a burger and fries, you can have a nice, healthier sandwich. And that's made a difference.
In addition, employers can make it easier for women to continue breastfeeding when they return to work, because babies who are breastfed are less likely to become overweight later in life.
There is no simple solution to the obesity epidemic. People need to make better choices. But we also have to change those choices in our schools, in our child care settings, in our work sites, and in our communities.
Part of the reason that I wanted to do this farewell address in Chicago as opposed to the more traditional practice of doing it in the Oval Office or here in the White House is Chicago's where it all started. So I'll be thinking back to being a young community organizer, pretty much fresh out of school, and feeling as if my faith in America's ability to bring about change and our democracy has been vindicated. The two things I take away from this office are, number one, that change can happen, that the system will respond to ordinary people coming together to try to move the country in a better direction. And the second thing I'll take away from this experience is the fundamental goodness of the American people, all of whom are pouring their heart and soul into making their communities work better, supporting their families, moving this country forward, keeping us safe. It gives you a lot of confidence about our prospects for the future.
Inauguration day.
The inaugural ball. They walked out. She had on that gorgeous white dress.
Oh, what's the guy's name? Luther.
Oh, yeah.
Knocking on the Oval Office window, I would say, that was probably the peak of my entire existence.
The moment when he picked me, I was so happy. I have to be the last question.
Before I answer your question, why don't you give me a little rep? Let's see what you got.
I was so emotional. I was crying. Thank you, President Obama, for coming to Vietnam.
It's the first time in my life I felt like the White House belonged to everybody.
And you really felt, you felt those first three words of the Constitution, we the people. Like it was one of those first times in my life that I felt like I was really part of that we.
My Obama moment was when I received this letter from President Obama last year, welcoming me to become a U.S. citizen.
When he just changed all the rules on the table in regards to Cuba with the most succinct motivation imaginable, which is what we've been doing hasn't worked, which made all the sense in the world.
My Obama moment was the signing of the Paris Agreement and making the United States a leader in the fight against global warming.
When I was at the UN and I heard our president say that climate change is the most important issue facing not only this generation but all future generations. It was inspiring.
For me, it was traveling with the president to schools in Boston, and the way he engaged the students was just one of those moments to see him connect like that that I think you see throughout his presidency.
My favorite President Obama moment was when he was elected president in 2008, because in 2008 was when I was born.
I never cried before from election result.
I don't know, just the magic of that moment, of that man who we'd all been on this journey with, take that stage with his family. I was sitting at home in my living room, and I felt like I was a part of that crowd in that park.
I didn't think I would live to see an African American emerge as president, but he did.
Third grade, when we had this project to write a letter to the White House, it was really strange when he actually replied back, because it was like, whoa, I'm a third grader and I can actually get a response from the president. I can actually make a difference.
In the aftermath of the school shootings in Connecticut, I don't know how he did it.
At one point, at the lectern, started to sing Amazing Grace, and the entire congregation stood up and did the same. And to me, it was just a powerful moment, and one that the nation needed, and one that he was able to provide.
His battle towards the end to pardon a lot of convicted felons who have been given heavy sentences for small drug-related crimes.
What I remember most about the visit was how excited everybody in my house was, and especially all the young people who were helping us. And I think the way they got so excited and so happy about it was something that I would always remember.
When the President of the United States lit the first ever diya in the White House as a symbol of the Hindu Festival of Lights.
President Obama put sexual violence on the map as an issue. Survivors can now speak about their experiences without shame. It's been amazing to be a part of that movement.
The moment that, we got the Affordable Care Act passed, because I have relatives that, can't afford health insurance. So it was really a great thing to know that if something happened to them, they get cared for.
The excitement we had when the Affordable Care Act became a law. My particular case, I have a pre-existing condition which was finally able to be cared for medically.
When Obama came out and spoke for same-sex marriage,
him showing his support towards trans separately from LGBT, from sexuality, just like, go Obama.
The most memorable Obama moment for me is when he said, "Eat your peas."
Eat our peas.
Which means just do it or get the most important things done first.
The CVS experience with Michelle was pretty cool. And dancing with Barack at his birthday party. And he's a good dancer. He should not get any flack for that. You're a good dancer.
He's my role model, my idol, because I want to be president.
When he wished Happy New Year to all the Iranian Americans, and he said Eid Shom Mubarak live on CNN. Perfectly.
How often do we remember Jackie Robinson? Everybody does. To me, he would be the Jackie Robinson of politics from my standpoint.
Told everybody to clear it out of the way. This is great. The kid to pressurize the marshmallow gun, and they launched it. Oh! So Obama out.
Dropped the mic on him, blew the kiss, and when I saw that, it absolutely blew me away.
That's a wrap. News ULM. We'll be back next week. Praise God.
Up to be somebody that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Mom loves the both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good to mom. Blood's thicker than the mud. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. What a bear. Still checking each other out. Hey, nobody wants to blow. Nobody wants to be left out. You can't leave cause your heart is there, but you can't stay cause you've been somewhere else.